Hello, everybody. Welcome back to the channel. This is episode 3 of setting up your training environment, setting up a home gym, or I should say, training equipment. Anyway, I probably said this a ton of times, but before I started lifting or was allowed to lift, I did a ton of push ups, which I felt helped me when it came to lifting. Now, what I should have done, I did just basic reps, but what I should have done is a harder progression because it helps you produce more tension. Just like instead of just doing a bunch of pull-ups, you can lead to a one-arm chin-up. Instead of just doing a bunch of air squats, you can do a ATG split squat. All right, those first two, and then a one-arm push-up. I guess you could say that's from Combat Conditioning or Greg O'Gallagher, and the split squats from Ben Patrick. But anyway, I want to drill something into your head that any training is good as long as it produces force. Now with body weight, you're only going to reach a certain point. So if you want more, you're going to have to add some weight. But what do you pick? I'm going to tell you. And I highly recommend a barbell and a squat rack. But, leading up to this, we know we should be training on the ground as much as we can. All right, keep that in no matter what. Getting a pull-up bar for all the other movements. And now we're going to do a barbell. But why a barbell versus other stuff first, right? Even before light dumbbells and all that. I'm going to tell you, first of all, you can incrementally load it, all right? Which is honestly easier to set up than, I know I have a dumbbell set up here, but instead of getting a whole bunch of dumbbells, you can just get a little pile, well, you can see it, pile of weights. It keeps your training simple because there's only a certain amount of movement patterns you can do with a bar without going too crazy. And you can train those movement patterns for a long time, okay? And what I actually highly recommend is to get bumpers, because if you're a ambitious individual, which I know you are, you want to also eventually work up to the Olympic lifts. Yes, you can do them. Okay, I don't care who I'm talking to. For I think 80% of the people out there, you can do it. Maybe I'll make a video on the power clean and get everybody warmed up and used to that. But anyway, you get a pair of bumpers. If you actually absolutely need more, get some more 55s, or you can start getting metal plates, and that's for the basic lifts, okay? Because I don't know what happens when you start power cleaning heavy with metal weight. Now you may be thinking, okay, well, what about machines that kind of fill in the nitty gritty? The only problem with machines is that they take up a lot of space. And I know people use them for assistance exercises, but look, I'm in a corner of my garage and this has already taken up enough space. Where else am I going to put others? Even if I wanted like a back extension machine, it's like, where am I going to put it? And what I would recommend is for assistance stuff, as much as you can, use body weight, okay? Like if you have to do calf raises, make them harder with your body weight before you think about trying to get a machine. Even though a machine is wonderful, just use what you got, okay? So what you do, here's the setup. You got a squat rack, all right? Ideally one with a pull-up bar like we talked about. You get a barbell, obviously. You get some weights. And like I said, get bumpers first. I know that's kind of counter to what like a basic barbell setup is, but I'm assuming you're going to want to do the Olympic lifts if you're here, because I do them. Follow me. But you get one set of bumpers, all right, all the way up. Like I said, when they get heavy, I have red 55s. Get another 55. That should set you up. And then if you really need some, just go on like Facebook Marketplace or Craigslist and get metal plates, okay? Because those are probably going to last longer than you getting them from someone else, getting bumpers from somebody else. Sorry, it's just, they last longer. And let's see, get a bench. Obviously, I got this for like $50 on Amazon. When you set up your squat rack, make sure you have enough space right here, right? Okay, to actually lift. I have probably the same length of space as my rack behind it. So that's when you need to squat, deadlift, if you need to, or not if you need to. When you do the Olympic lifts, okay, I have enough space right here. And the last one that's kind of optional is to set up flooring. All right, I just have stall mats. You can set up a platform if you're feeling froggy, and all you need to do after that is find a program and stick with it, okay, for a long period of time. Now, questions. What about assistant stuff? Like I said, try to use as much of just your body weight as possible. What about dumbbells? I know I have a set here. It could go crazy if you start getting dumbbells, because what are you going to get? Like every pair all the way up to hundreds? Just get, I would probably say something like 10, 15, 25, 50 is going to be enough for most people. That's kind of like if you're doing CrossFit stuff. Beyond that, sorry, like just stick with that and just focus on lifting and getting stronger. And now, a very important question, which I actually saw in Strong Lifts 5x5 Reddit, is what if I'm too weak for the barbell? Okay, which is a valid point, because both starting strength and strong lifts start with the bar. I would highly encourage you to hammer bodyweight training as much as possible, right? Like if you can get up to, if you're doing like push-ups in the 50s and you work up to like incline where your feet are high, push-ups, handstand push-ups, something like that. Squats are probably going to be a little bit easier because they're larger muscles. Same with the deadlift. Hammer those, and then I guarantee you training with upper body and the weights will be easier, right? I think the overhead press is going to be a problem for a lot of people, but if you can do a lot of handstand push-ups, what do you think is going to happen, right? It's your body, which is, I'm assuming, at least over 100 pounds. I mean, minus your arms, whatever. But your body versus the 45-pound barbell, if you get better at the handstand push-up, you'll be better with the barbell, okay? So don't be intimidated. Do your homework with the body weight and then move on to the barbell. So, as an anecdote myself, I didn't know any better. I just did a ton of push-ups. And again, my bench, I was able to get 185, 225 fairly quickly. Another example, I don't know the time frame of this, but Herschel Walker would do a ton of push-ups and did a lot of body weight for the longest time. And then when he went to bench, he was benching in the mid threes. I don't know how long it took him to get there, but still, like, that success leaves clues. So you really have no excuses, all right? Get stronger there. Build your home gym. It takes a second. If you have the space, go ahead and do it. So that's it. That's part 3. Part 4 is coming. Thanks for watching. Subscribe and all that good stuff. Bye.